and a resonance as to what we are creating and sharing together, with what value we give each conceived stage. Where do ghosts come from, in and around us, to seal our fate because somewhere something is not complete, or is so complete it cannot be controlled, except as an outer environment in a so-called better life? But somewhere someone wishes everything beautifully complete. Whose personality is judging what? Do we carry others' jobs around with us, come what may? How do we make the changes? There is a middle way, which cares and wishes to achieve. It is not boring or bored, and remains non-violent. It allows cultures to coexist with the grey tension of the iron-clad universal. People are learning at many different speeds, not just children. We have to realize what this means to life. Emotional softness means how we listen, see and feel, with response and answers, what we have learnt. Its real position may only be a feel of intent or reduction that we are on our way. We should look for our medial body area, otherwise we start to fight or take flight. Care to be able to sense beyond. Many of us look to help others, maybe in a hospice, or to do sports like running a marathon or just following it on TV. This allows us to find this tension and to show we can do something or join in to make something worthwhile. It's so simple. Others stay put with cultural pursuits, just in their place. It's like a vacuum which does have a connection to the finest. The symbols can be likened to the key aspects of quantum particles, or of the roots of existence. We can sense them in our brain as key images. Physically standing aside has the effect of mentally making us separate. Here we have to be brave and sense there is a whole, or we can become ill and lonely. Our cultural consciousness often takes this pondering apart and forces togetherness or complete degradation. We have to combine this by preparing the different levels of existence in our very own physical and mental bodies through the symbols structure and combination, just like mandalas, both of words and these astro symbols. We have to find a way to come together rather than resort to fighting, so our causes connect. When the levels of intent find meaning, and the emotions that are the same, yet able to understand positions without taking them personally, find a new way to play a game and support it. Our whole social system is made up by how we play with these key symbols and make them palatable to that group that we are involved with. This is as simple or complicated as that. But what are the real values that we give and take from each other? There are going to be marginalized people, whether they are the artist or even the destructive drug taker. Is this really the case? Because the drug trip can be forced by the drug bosses and dealers? Here we stay very quiet and let actions speak louder than words. We wake up from our dream. It is the fact we are so alone in ourselves. Finding our way back to know what society needs through knowledge of the self and what survival traits are at work. Check out the elements in nature. Many say one thing, but actually achieve very differently, because the base rules of body and mind and nature cannot be changed. We are looking for ideas to make the self attractive before we go out there. Where in nature can we use this? In the desert, or the city, or in the countryside? Go down to the water of the oasis or the lake in the park and sense what and who is interesting. What about Camelot and the sword as symbols of intent? Follow a few people and ask them about their way of life. See the film Awakening Life as an example of this technique. Divide each person's way of life into its meridians and levels. Do not value here, or we fall into seeing how each can make the other fall, because they are the same. This is the connection of the quantum laws. Detail and movement cannot be combined, or they divide the whole. Add the circles, or we are only in the spirit quantum connection. When we start to value, then it is the end of the line. But when we allow life in as expanded awareness, then we are on our way. As simple as gazing beyond the lake physically and mentally. Take a supermarket and show how the owner can bring goods and services together without excessive conflict. Because although everything competes for people's limited income, the products bring people together, and there is choice. What makes business? Profits and service limits, but also that subconscious feel of the place which we cannot define, or what are we missing? Many are fascinated, but only watch those travel and animal programs in TV, which show that balance between life and death. Others are asked to learn new ways, or should we say acceptable ways, so we can communicate. But the alpha and omega of life is lost in the detail. Each takes a part of the cake. The hologram is lost, so it is only held in the subconscious as a way to mark a division when our intent is wrong. The protective angel is at work. We tell the story of someone living with Aborigines and how individuality is found when we are together all the time, and when we can divide our lives into special spaces to do different things. Is that the reason how we rigidly hold spatial purpose together? Carrying love with us appears to be the answer, although each place uses this space differently. There is, whether we are in the desert or in our offices, a need to stay clamped to core conscious symbols. Showing these symbols is that way to life, but it goes on for short periods, attracting attention or just enjoying ourselves